about the traveler. What should we do if someone is traveling, you know, and how do we pray? If someone is traveling, they have also their own rulings. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it easy for the traveler so they wouldn't actually, it wouldn't be so hard on them, because traveling by itself is a very very hard thing. There's a hadith that it is da'if, it's not an authentic hadith, where the Prophet ﷺ, he said that the traveling is like a qat'a min an-nar, like it's a piece of hellfire, because this is how hard it is. A long time ago, just imagine people traveling for days under the sun, on the camels, or even walking. It's just too much. Now it's getting, of course, easier with all the transportations that we have, but it's hard. Like someone is driving here in the United States from state to another for 10 hours, 12 hours, that's a lot. Or someone is traveling on the plane for 16 hours to go overseas, or it's just too much, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it easy. It's in the Quran and on the Hadith. Now, if it's a Fajr, then you pray the two rak'ahs that we know about. You don't have to do more than that, only two rak'ahs. So they're short already, right? And now, if they are Dhuhr and Asr, which is the noon and the afternoon, we're supposed to be, like in the normal setting, we're supposed to be praying at Dhuhr time 4 rak'ahs, and in the Asr 4 rak'ahs again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if it's a Asr and Dhuhr and the time came, you can either do them, you can do two rak'ahs, and you pray them together. Like you don't separate and you say, okay, I'm going to pray 2 rak'ahs at Dhuhr time and 2 rak'ahs at Asr time. No. You do your intention first to do 2 rak'ahs of Dhuhr. So you pray the 2 rak'ahs Dhuhr and then you say Salamu alaikum, Salamu alaikum. Then you stand up again and you do 2 other rak'ahs and you make the intention that you're praying this for Asr, for the afternoon. And then you say, after you do the 2 rak'ahs, you say Salamu alaikum, Salamu alaikum. And that's it. You don't have to do 4 and 4. You do two, two to, like, right back to back, like behind each other. You can either do it at the time of Dhuhr or you can do it at the time of Asr. At the time of Dhuhr, it means taqdeem. It means like you're bringing Asr like earlier of its time. Or you can do ta'khir, which means at the time of Asr, but you actually delay the noon prayer to Asr time. And both of them are correct. You see what I'm saying? So you can do 2 and 2 back to back. That's for Dhuhr and Asr. That's only if you are traveling. Let's say that I am in Texas and I'm going to Maryland to see Javaria, inshallah, for like 4 or 5 days. For the whole 4 or 5 days in Maryland, I actually do that, gathering the prayers together. Okay? Same thing I do with Maghrib and Isha. Maghrib are 3 rak'ahs and Isha are 4 rak'ahs. So of course the 3 rak'ahs, they're short already, so you don't have to shorten them more than 3. But then after you finish the 3 rak'ahs, you pray 2 rak'ahs for Isha, which is the night prayer, which is after sunset and after nighttime. So you can gather them together. So you do Maghrib and Isha at the time of the Maghrib, at the time of after sunset until Isha time, and that's called taqdeem. That because you brought the Isha time, and made it so you made it earlier till the time of the after sunset. Or you can do ta'khir, means like delaying. You delay the after the sunset prayer to the time of the Isha, which is at night time. This is how you do jama'. Jama' and qasr. Jama' means gathering and qasr means shortening. Okay? So you are gathering and shortening the prayers at the time of the traveling. Because traveling by itself is actually it is a struggle, it's a suffer by itself. Now let's say that you are in a plane. I was just reading about this yesterday. And the plane is too long, like you have to travel for 16, 18 hours. And you have 3 or 4 prayers that you have to pass by. Okay, how do you do that? Can you wait until after the plane arrives and then after that you can actually pray? Yes, you can. But the best, of course, to pray at the time. So let's say that it is night time and it is time for Fajr. How do you know it's time of Fajr? Although you are in the plane, how do you know that it is time of Fajr? Can anybody tell me? Can anyone guess? Anyone guess?
You look at your phone.
Okay, but you know what? But for example, let's say that you are over the Atlantic Sea.
Oh.
So
I
you
don't know.
can't actually see it. You can't actually know when the prayer.
I know,
You
that's
can,
true.
right? Yeah. So how do you do that if you're over the Atlantic Sea or over, for example, somewhere in Europe?
My guess would be to do the destination timing as the prayer timing.
Yeah.
So if you
S-
kind of, that
So
would be
there are
my
two,
guess.
there are actually two ways to do that. Yeah, very good. Yeah. So you can do it by getting like the closest country that you are over. Like let's say that you are over Sweden, right? So you look at the timing of the Sweden and when is the prayer times of Sweden. So you follow that country. Okay, that's one. That's one way. The other way is you open the window and you can actually see, and I've seen it by the way, you can actually see the very thin white line, which is like the light before the sunrise. You know this is the time of Fajr. So you pray right away. And pray right away because the Fajr time, when you are up there, you can see the sun quickly. It goes really quickly. Without yeah, I mean like really quickly. So you have to pray right away. Okay. Now, how do you do wudu? Of course, it's very hard to make wudu. So it's better to have socks on. Like you make your wudu and you wear your socks and keep them on. And again, in the traveling, you can keep those socks for 3 days in the traveling. But when you're in the regular setting, you only keep them for 24 hours. So when you are doing the wudu, you don't have to wash your feet. You just wipe your feet. Okay. And when you have your hijab on, you don't have to take your hijab off and put water on your hair. You can actually just wet your hand and just, and just like, wipe your head, wipe your what do you call it, your hair, under your hijab. So this is how you can do it. Okay. Now, let's say that there is no setting where you can pray. Okay. Where do I pray? Many of the flight attendants will let you go and pray behind the bathrooms where their kitchen area. You can actually ask to go pray and they will let you. But let's say that there is no place at all, or you can actually do it in the hallway or where the exit doors. You can do that. And I've done that before. But let's say you cannot do that, or you feel shy, or, some people, they feel insecure doing that, or they don't feel right about it. Then you can actually pray on the chair. And that's actually an exception. That is only an exception in this way. You can actually pray on the chair. But of course, the best way to do it is to do it while you're standing up and just do a full prayer. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept your efforts. I mean,